what I'm talking about. Fire fueled by greed and fueled by hate. We gotta put it out before it's too late. And the reaper's creeping, another mother's weeping. There's no place.
Of course, I got in about 2 a.m. last night. Do I look like Lubie? Good morning, by the way.
You look
Do
good.
I look like I need a cut, man?
You look good. I'm proud of you. You're like ready. You're on time. All the guys there didn't have to stress out waiting for you. Look at you. A new day.
I'm a professional. There's no question about it. And I don't like to lose a job on the first day of the job.
That'd be good.
Which is ugly. Because we already lost one job, and we got fired by Fox. And in fact, you and I, Lubie, are the only starters that were ever beaten out for a job by Brady Quinn. You can kind of wrap your arms around that concept. Florida, which is in the state of Florida, has been in the Stone Age forever. I mean, we're still operating by blue law at beer before 12 o'clock on a Sunday. I'm not sure what religious cult is responsible for the legislation that takes place, but essentially Florida is structured this way. We're here in South Florida, which is very hip and up with modern times. And once you get, would you say, north of Palm Beach, Mike Lubitz, West Palm Beach, Florida, for those unfamiliar with the geography of the state, if you get like 30 miles out of town here, forget about it. It's hillbilly city. You're hearing banjo music and somebody's telling you to squat down like a pig when you pull up to the Waffle House. It's just the way it is. Leslie Visser, a lovely and talented one. I mean, the first woman and for a long time, the only woman. There are now 2 in the NFL Hall of Fame. I mean, in there with all of the greats, Johnny U, Joe Willie, all of our favorites, Joe Montana, the great Dan Marino, and Leslie Visser, part of the scene in the NFL Hall of Fame. But what level of distinction is it to be the first guest on our new program? Because I would imagine, Leslie Visser, and by the way, how are you? Thanks so much for joining us here on the program.
Is this an after-school special?
This isn't practice. We're doing it. We're all over the world.
Congratulations to you guys. I'm so proud to be your first guest. And, of course, I have a number of things to go over that maybe this time it could be different. You know, it's not the gambler's creed.
You think we're going to erase the past all at once here in one program? It's impossible.
The time.
Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
On a beautiful Tuesday here in South Florida. Good morning, everybody. Great to be with you on ION Channel and the IONchannel.com presentation, video and audio streaming of the Defo Show. We had a Peel Yourself Off the Mat Monday yesterday. Had a heck of a lot of fun. It was just a beautiful weekend of sports. And one of the things that you learn if you're broadcasting in South Florida is never make any reference to the weather. Because by the time you look outside, I mean, you could do a segment. By the time you look outside, it's changed 180 degrees. Yep. I had that experience when I first moved to Florida. I had an MGB. I was living in Coconut Grove. I thought it was pretty cool. I was on my way to Calder Racecourse, which was open at the time. You'll find that somewhat of a surprise. And let me introduce the crew to you. I'm Jeff Deforrest, of course, the Defo Show, with Mike Lubitz.
Good morning.
And so I'm living in Coconut Grove in an apartment with another guy that I had met when I had moved into the White Hart Hotel, which was, this was South Beach before it was South Beach, but it was more like South Florida meets the Mariel Boat Lift at that time. I mean, it was ugliness. I was paying $60 a week for a room there. It was infested with cockroaches. And so a buddy of mine and I realized that at $120 a week, we could go afford most apartments. 2 bedrooms in spiffier areas at the time. You could pay like $500 rent and get yourself a pretty good place. So without any furniture, we moved to Coconut Grove. I drive my car. There was a little newsstand in Coconut Grove where you could buy a racing form. Bright sunny day. I mean, it could not be any more perfect outside. Blue skies, the old high sky, as they say in baseball. Well, he lost that pop-up. It was a high sky. What exactly is a high sky as opposed to a low sky?
What's a low sky?
Sky is the sky, man. Hello, William Shatner. I mean, they shot this 90-year-old guy up in space. What did he find out? Sky is the sky. So I pull in this newsstand. Bright sunny day. I walk inside to get a racing form. I left the top down on my little MGB. which I was driving around very proudly. Although the first thing to go in an MGB besides the brakes is that little back window. So if it rains, you're in trouble. Now, I came from Southern California. It didn't rain in the summertime. You weren't anticipating having to put the roof up. And I was in this store exactly 3 minutes, maybe. Said hello to the guy, asked him if he liked anything in the first. That's when people were friendlier. You could talk to a guy who didn't think you were robbing the store. You say, "Hey, Joe, how you doing?" And he's on the phone. 911. Yeah, I got trouble here.
Lunatic. He's talking to me.
I come back out. My car is flooded, literally. I mean, in the span of 2 minutes, it had gone from bright sunny skies to just complete obliteration in terms of the precipitation that was coming down. And my car actually had like about a half a foot of water in it. And I realized this is a very different place. And that's why we're glad to be broadcasting here, because it is a very different place when it comes to virtually everything, including the sporting world. But Monday usually is our Peel Yourself Off the Mat day. Peel Yourself Off the Mat Monday. We kind of dubbed that. You have to have a name for every show. This is kind of a takeoff, like it's a Touchdown Tuesday.
Exactly.
Here on the Mighty Joe, or whatever the radio station calls itself. I guess there is a station here called the Joe, named after a former partner of mine, the great Joe Rose, former tight end, with the distinction of catching Dan Marino's first touchdown pass. Joe held on to the ball, though. He didn't do one of those things like Mike Evans did, where he gives the ball to a guy, 600th touchdown pass, and he hands it to some schmank in the stands. Guy gave it back, man. It was like the Roger Maris thing when Maris's 61st homer was caught by some guy from Jamaica, Queens, and he gave it back to Roger Maris, and then Maris said, nah, keep it. You know, if you could sell it for something, it's worth more to you than it is to me. Unbelievable. Very humble guy, that Roger Maris. Wasn't exactly cut out for the kind of stardom that beset him once he came to New York and became a Yankee and was a big hero there. But and nonetheless, I mean, just a great day here in South Florida. And I'm reluctant to mention the weather, though, because we have so many replays of the show now, including on Ion Channel. I mean, this thing is running on an endless loop. We're on YouTube. I punched it up last night about 2 a.m. I said, let me see if the Defo Show is on YouTube. Boom, there it is, every episode. Fantastic. Yes, and now with our replay on WWNN of this hour of the program, you could say, hey, it's a beautiful day outside. And meanwhile, you know, the whole town could be destroyed by 11 o'clock. Now it's flash flooding and lots of lightning. I can't believe the whole city burnt down. So you have to be careful about what you say. But we thank the people, 1470 WWNN. I listened to the broadcast. I was on my way to a meeting with the great Jack Namer. And he was wondering, what the hell are you guys doing with this show? Yeah. No, he's very happy with everything. And so are we. We're happy to be a part of the Ion channel. And I tuned in the replay of the show. And I rarely, you know me, Lubie, I don't listen back to anything.
Nope.
I don't save anything. I don't listen back to anything. I'll get an offer for some kind of opportunity. The guy will say, well, you got any samples of your work? No, I got nothing. I'll show up there and we'll make something up. If you'd like to have a live audition, that would be fine. Otherwise, just give me the job. And what's the worst thing that can happen? We ruin your entire network and bury the organization forever, right? So all of a sudden, lawsuits are flying. No, I don't think we're that scary of a proposition from a professional standpoint. But I'm driving, and it came in crystal clear. So we thank the people, WWNN. And if you miss a portion of the program, catching it on a replay, and you want to hear the first hour of the show, 12 o'clock today on WWNN. That's 1470 in the Fort Lauderdale area. Nice, tangible terrestrial radio to add as a complement to what we're doing here on Ion Channel and our various other outlets. Because we're all over the place, right? 5 Reasons Sports Network, the Believe podcast has After Hours with Defo and Lubie. Although people are really questioning, Lubie, your tactic in putting your picture in front of mine.
But if it's
now, it doesn't look right.
I didn't know.
You have my name first, and yet your picture appears first. What is that? A subliminal thing between you and the wife there? You guys are always plotting your future there, Lubie. Maybe to the detriment of the old man, figuring I'm not going to make it very far. Well, and I nearly didn't. It's time now for them to institute the 3 knockdown rule at the Pompano Beach Municipal Tennis Center.
Oh, God, what happened now?
I took another spill last night. I decided, don't let that ball go by you. Why don't you make some kind of running stab at it and see if you might get a lucky shot off, hit it back over the net, and frustrate the great Dr. Jerry Perlmutter, who was my opponent last night. Now, Dr. Jerry's not digging for a lot of balls because his knees are shot, man. His knees are in worse shape than Joe Willie's were in his final years in the National Football League. It's weird watching an opponent across the net there that's just in, incessant pain. But That being said, so, me thinking with my new whole fitness regimen and the walk of life, going 4 miles a day and out there playing tennis, feel good. And so I tried to track this ball down and went straight down on my face.
Oh, God.
Do I look bad? I don't feel too bad.
You look fine. Just be safe. We need you to be okay. Jesus. Are you kidding me?
It's not a good thing. I don't know if it's the sneakers. I think Mustang purposely brought me a pair of sneakers that more closely resemble clown shoes, with like a lot of room there in the toes. So anyway, yeah, went down and it's harder to recover. It really is. When you get up there in years, it seems like the simplest thing. You used to just brush yourself off and be fine, which I try to do, right? I try to act like, I've been there before.
Yes.
And then today, I mean, literally, it feels like I got hit by a truck. People were saying that about the COVID shot when they got the first one. The Moderna one was especially devastating to a lot of people. I felt like I got hit by a truck. I didn't have any problem with it. And, I know you didn't either, right, Lubie? Were you sick for a couple of days, COVID-19?
The second
Still
shot,
pushing it.
I felt a little dehydrated, but everyone told me if you drink water, you'll feel better. And the minute I started drinking water, I felt way better.
I started drinking beer right after all 3 shots. Hey, Joe, you got a beer? Yeah, no, this guy wants one here. He says you're having trouble recovering. It worked, right? They'll give you whatever you want just to make sure that, you stay with the program. All right, many things happen in the World Series. I've told this story many, many times, and I was reminded of it again last night as I saw a shot of the Mazeroski home run, the 1960 World Series.
I love that.
And there are certain things. Do you remember? See, I can visualize certain things in my life. Even going back, I can actually see myself as a 9-year-old. I remember where we were when Richie D'Angelo, there was a little stoop and kind of a marble stoop that people sat on outside the building I lived on, Clinton Avenue in Myrtle in Brooklyn. Myrtle was actually, I don't know if it was south or north. I want to say it was south, directionally challenged from my childhood. Did you know which way was east, west, north, and south? No, nobody had any idea.
Not really.
No, you just knew that if you hit the ball 2 sewers and ran as fast as you could, you're likely to clear the bases and hit a grand slam home run in a punch ball or a stickball game. But I remember sitting on this stoop and this kid, Richie D'Angelo, who was like the neighborhood Fonz in my neighborhood, a little bit of a criminal element to him, but it was essentially a very nice guy, good-looking kid too, and he was a little older than me and maybe slightly older than some of the other kids that we hung out with that were always playing ball and hanging out in the streets. And so he asked everybody to raise their hand if you were a Yankee fan or a Pirate fan before the 1960 World Series. I would say there were about 11 kids there, and 9 of them raised their hands as Yankee fans. And I didn't want to go against Richie D'Angelo for some reason. And so when he reluctantly just lagged behind that group and said, well, I'm rooting for the Pirates, I said, yeah, me too. I love the Yankees. What are you talking about? 1960 New York Yankees. They were fantastic. I mean, they went on from that devastating loss in the World Series to win the next 2. They were in the next 4. They were good till 1965, till like Horace Clarke arrived on the scene. That might have come later. They had some really bad teams there after being dynamos for so many years. Anyway, so he decides, why don't we take bets now? Because it's 9 guys on one side and 2 guys on the other. And there was a similar incident in my high school where everybody lined up on one side and it was like one dissident. And this was at a time where kids were convinced that the war in Vietnam was good, right? And I went to a high school where there were very intelligent kids. We were in some kind of advanced course. Was well ahead of the pace there. Even when I got to college, some of the courses I took in college were almost of an elementary nature, which is the only reason I was able to get a degree.
I was like, oh, well,
I've already seen this stuff before. Calculus? Sure. No problem. Here's the answer. It's pi r squared. So anyway, I remember the social studies teacher, Mr. Tybman, was also the assistant or JV basketball coach at the time to Pineapple Mike Laurel, who was not much of a coach, I don't think. But nonetheless, he was the guy that was in charge there. And we respected coaching authority in that time. Now, you would never go up to a coach and defy anything that he did back then. But whatever the coach said, that was gospel, even if he was spitting right in your face like he was the second coming of Bobby Knight, which Pineapple Mike Laurel was not. And we used to say, hey, Pineapple, you're no Bobby Knight, believe me.
Did he always have
go man to man.
Why did he?
That was his name. He looked like a pineapple. He was built like a pineapple.
Okay.
I believe it was of Hawaiian descent. You could have never gotten away with this today, right?
There's got to be something that's not right in 2021 about
Kids
this.
would have been expelled from school. Yeah, I think he was Hawaiian. That's why we called him Pineapple Mike Laurel.
Oh, God.
Anyway, Tideman was a big, tall guy. He looked a little bit like not Dolph Shays, but Danny Shays, like a stiff.
Oh.
He played some basketball. And you could tell he was just one of those guys that really got on teams because he was tall.
Yep.
It wasn't terrible, but wasn't really much of a basketball player. But and a horrible social studies teacher. He was one of those guys that you were killing yourself not to look at the clock. I don't know if you ever had this syndrome. I hated school. I just hated sitting in school. I wanted to be outside, playing ball, doing anything.
Yep.
And I just hated sitting in a class there. And it was hot, and you were uptight, and you had to wear like a shirt. I don't even know if you had to wear ties back then. That's possible. But, you had to wear like a dress shirt. You couldn't go just like a slob, in flip-flops and shorts.
Oh, you had to wear dress shirts? No way. Ugh.
Dress shirts, yeah. I mean, you couldn't even wear like a T-shirt. Can you imagine that, going to school?
What the hell?
So you're sitting there, and it was excruciating. I would be telling myself, don't look up. Don't look up.
I hated that.
Don't look up at the clock. Just hoping that the class was coming to an end. Like a lot of people are thinking, hey, when is this segment going to end?
You're like, it's
I'm
been
looking
an
at your
hour.
watches right now going, no, Jesus, this Deforrest is, when is he going to get to the point?
Never.
So, and I remember that, and you would look up at the clock after what you thought were hours that had transpired, and 37 seconds had gone by. This guy
That's the worst.
was so fucking boring. That's the only way to put it. I'm sorry, to use profanity here on the show. Oh, we might have to bleep that out for the WWNN. I'm sorry about that, Lubie. I made it a little bit prohibitive.
I forgot about that. Thanks.
Mark that down. Yeah, it's terrestrial radio.
I got it.
I couldn't resist taking that liberty.
Day 2 get kicked off.
That was the only way. Yeah, that was the only way to describe this Mr. Tideman. Just absolutely ridiculous. But nonetheless, he had proposed that, okay, who's in favor of the war in Vietnam? And believe it or not, this was circa like 1968, Lubie, somewhere around there, which by 69, everybody had hair down in their ass and was carrying signs to impeach Nixon. Like, it didn't even take 6 months for you to have a complete political reversal of form. But I do remember all the kids lined up, except for like 2. There were 2 guys, both of whom were like smoking weed. And they were the only guys that were in opposition to the war in Vietnam. Everybody else was convinced we were red-blooded Americans, that whatever America did, it was right. And then little did we know. I mean, we couldn't have been any more wrong about that particular thing. And that's where I thought we were at with this 1960 World Series. See, there is a point to all of this, Lubie.
Oh, okay. There you go. Good job for you. I forgot.
Because there are like 9 guys on one side, 2 guys on the other. And D'Angelo, being kind of, an avant-garde sort and a pace setter in the world of social endeavors, says, all right, we'll bet all of you. You guys take the Yankees, we'll take the Pirates. And I'm like, what? We'll take the Pirates? Who's on the Pirates?
Exactly.
Is Danny Murtaugh their manager? No, we knew everything back then because we had baseball cards. And we also knew that prior to the World Series, the Pittsburgh Pirates had 0.0 Plutarski numbers in terms of a shot of beating the vaunted, almighty New York Yankees, managed by the great Casey Stengel. So I don't know what the total number it was in terms of action on that bet. It was like $1 from this kid, $2 from that kid. One guy put up 5. And we were looking real bad because in the games that the Pirates won, they eked out victories in that series. It'd be like 2-1 Pirates. And then the Yankees would come back and win the next day 17-2. The Bronx Bombers. I mean, we're on their game. But every other game, it seemed like, was going the other way. And the Pirates managed to get to 3-3 in this series. And they're at home at Forbes Field in Pittsburgh for Game 7. And the Yankees take what seems like an insurmountable lead, I believe, in the 7th or 8th inning of that game. And the Pirates eventually came back with, I think it was a guy named Landis that hit a 3-run home run in the 8th inning. People forget about that because the Maz home run was that the first ever walk-off in postseason play? That seems impossible. They didn't call it a walk-off back then. It was just like a game-winning homer. But Mazeroski, an improbable source for that also. He was a .260 lifetime hitter. That was the thing that kept him out of the Hall of Fame forever. Great defensive player, and, of course, had probably the climactic and signature moment. Is it fair to say most people, if they rank the greatest home runs of all time, put Mazeroski at number 1? There are others, yes, you could make a brilliant case for, but the Maz home run to win Game 7 of the World Series, an impossible situation against the New York Yankees was deemed by many to be the #1 home run all time in baseball history. And it was for me. That was Bobby Thompson. There's a long drive to left field. That ball is going, and the Giants win a pennant. This was the shot heard around the world because I lived in Brooklyn, and we were assured and felt completely confident that we were going down in flames. D'Angelo, Richie could fight, but I had to leave town. This was literally the prelude to a loser leaves town match that Vince McMahon might stage at Madison Square Garden. And the loser will have to leave town. You always wonder, did the guy actually leave town, or were they planning on leaving town anyway? And a loser leaves town.
Yeah, they're already moving.
We were going to Cleveland anyway, man.
They're already moving.
Yeah. We're at the Bell Center tomorrow in Toronto. I mean, what do I care if I have to leave town? I'm leaving. I already got plane tickets.
That's great.
Suitcases are packed. Yeah. The loser leaves town match. But I was halfway to Queens because I knew we couldn't pay these bets off. It had to be over $20 between the 9 guys that we had booked their action against the New York Yankees. And we didn't have the 20. And I asked D'Angelo what we were going to do. He said, I don't know. We'll have to fight him. I'm like,
no.
I'm a Jew. I negotiate. I don't fight. Listen, guys, it might take me a little time to get you running.
Listen, guys.
I assure you, I'm going to be mowing lawns. No, we didn't do that back then. There were no lawns.
No.
It was just pavement. Yes. The asphalt jungle. So I do remember I was on the Myrtle Avenue Hill, and I was asked by the conductor, because I was only 9 years old. He said, "Where are you going, kid?" And I said, "As far away as I can get," which there was an ending to it. And then you had no choice but to turn around and come back. But I didn't want to be found that day for sure. And we ended up, just resigning ourselves to the idea we were going to take a beating. And then sure enough, boom, there it goes. And Mazeroski hits that home run, and it saved me. I would not be here today were it not for Bill Mazeroski. So I was very much in favor of him eventually getting his just place in the Hall of Fame, even though he was a stinking 260 hitter at a time where batting averages matter. But the World Series gets underway tonight. That's why I bring up this story. I have some favorite World Series. Do you have a favorite World Series? 97 World Series might be one for you. 2003.
Yeah, 97, 93.
Then Florida Marlins. As they improbably made their... Well, I mean, you could have anticipated they would make a run of the World Series in 97. 2003, I think, came as a little bit of a surprise.
That was improbable. 97 put a ton of money. People were calling them the Yankees, and their payroll was like $60 million. And they're like, what are they doing? Buying a World Series? It's like the Yankees have done this for decades. Like, what are you talking about? So 97, there was a lot of pub. They still didn't win the division, but there was a lot of pomp and circumstance behind that team.
Costas hated him, man. Costas could not stand the wild card. Bob Costas. Baseball purist Bob Costas, who I like. I mean, I love him as a baseball announcer. I think he's among the best ever. Bob Costas. And I enjoy the fact that he still digs what he's doing. He's made hundreds of millions of dollars, Lubie.
Yeah.
Has a place like overlooking Central Park, and that's like his bachelor pad. Yep. Or whatever. I don't know. Maybe he stashes a mistress there. I don't know. He's a family man, I believe. From the Midwest. Real pure Midwest ethics and approach. And brilliant baseball announcer, and he still likes doing it. People always ask me, how many times? You don't get this. You probably get this about me. Like, when is that fat old guy going to retire?
I don't get the first part, but I get the last part all the time. And I say, why would he? He has
Why
fun.
Retire from this? It's a good time, man. Who wouldn't enjoy talking about some of the things, the experiences that you had in life? The 97 World Series, I had an interesting experience with also, and it was a prelude to the MasterCard commercial. Where no, true story. I bought season tickets with my friend Mike Fernandez, and also involved in this package. We had a 3-way split on season tickets from the inception of the Marlins, going back to 1993 when they came into existence. And we had done some work for the then president of the team, Don Smiley was his name. He was like a right-hand man for Huizenga, Wayne Huizenga, the owner of the team. And there was a lottery, remember? I don't know if you remember this, Lubie. You might have been a little bit too young to care about this kind of thing. But there was a lottery to see what kind of tickets you would get if you would apply for season tickets, which we did. And our third partner was Rosie Paymont, who owned the Penalty Box Lounge. Nice. And that was here in town. It was a very popular spot. But Paymont, of course, part of a great NHL family. And Rosie was one of the best fighters in hockey. He was like the Ty Domi of his day, only he was a much bigger guy. And a great guy. And the reason it was so great having him in the package for season tickets was the only games he wanted to go to, since he was from Canada, you kind of make this equation. was the Montreal games. Montreal Expos were around. And nobody wanted to go to the Montreal Expo games. I'd rather go see anybody but the Montreal Expos. So that was great. We gave him all of the Montreal games. And my buddy Mike and I ended up splitting the World Series tickets. So Mike wanted to go. My other friend, he works for Fox Sports. He wanted to go to Game 6 because he thought the Marlins were going to win in Game 6. So he goes to Game 6, and he sees like a real dull loss. I think they lost that game to the Cleveland Indians like 4-1. We're never in it, never raised a gallop. And I now have 10 rows behind home plate. Tickets for Game 7 of the 1997 World Series. 2 tickets, right? So I'm going to take my son, Jesse, and I made him the offer. I said, Jesse, we can do one of 2 things here. We can go to the game and watch Game 7 of the World Series, or we can probably sell these tickets at the time. I think you probably could have got $1,500 for the 2 of them, Lubie, which doesn't seem like much, but at that time, that was an exorbitant amount of money for a ticket. Now you can't even see like half of the Rolling Stones for $750. But so $1,500 to a kid, I mean, he was 14 years old, had to be a lot, very meaningful. And Jesse said, I'd rather go to the game, Dad. And I thought, what?
That's nice.
Because I was gonna steal a piece. I was hoping we get like $1,700. I gave him the 15, and I'd take a deuce and go to the track.
You're like, what are you doing?
And tell the wife we were going to the game, so we'd have every reason to dodge being home and maybe be out late. So we ended up going to that game, and it was great. It couldn't have been better, right? I mean, dramatic fashion, as you had Craig Counsell scoring on the Renteria single up the middle, and Costas literally threw up. It was like you were looking up at the balcony of some XXX rated theater in a small town, and there's one guy up there, and he's throwing up. And that was it. I mean, he was puking as the Marlins, as a wild card team, won the World Series over the very pure and intrinsically good Cleveland Indian team, which, they had not gone out there and bought a bunch of cheeseball free agents and put them together there in a ragtag fashion like Dave Dombrowski did. Dave likes to spend that money, doesn't he, Dave?
Yep.
Philadelphia Phillies now. He has his hands in a lot of pies, Dave Dombrowski. I'm surprised he hasn't interviewed to be the Mets president, right? He's the only guy. He and Bernie Sanders, the only 2 guys that haven't interviewed for that job yet. They had another guy reject him. So big-time World Series tonight. We're with the Braves and the Houston Astros, which many people were down on the Astros for that cheating incident. I'm in favor of it, having a background in drumming, played the drums when I was a kid. So I love it that they're hiring drummers. I think they have Simon Phillips on the scene there, one of the world's great drummers. Maybe they should get Chris Pete from the J.P. Soares band, or Albert's drummer, Ephraim Lowell. And they can go ahead and communicate the signs there. So Altuve somehow on the first pitch knows it's going to be a breaking ball, and then boom, right out of the park there at old Minute Maid Park. That's a weird place, huh? Remember when we went by there and all the bums are like sleeping outside just down the street there from Minute Maid Park, where Houston had developed a really nice downtown area. They always talk about these concepts. Oh, yeah, we're going to build the arena there for the Heat downtown and improve the entire area. Everybody's going to love going down there.
Never.
Right? Meanwhile, you're getting carjacked. Your tires are missing when you get to the parking lot that guaranteed you, A, no blocky, and B, security. It's a mess down here. But, no, very nice area. And then I was surprised, though. Remember we would turn that corner there by the stadium when we were going to the site for the Super Bowl? And, all these people are just, like, sleeping under a bridge, like a few feet away. It's an ugly thing. Got to fix that up.
That sucks.
All right, many things happening here. Ion Channel, great to be with you. If you're catching a replay, WWNN. Hopefully, Lubie will bleep out that profanity that we had earlier in the program. Jameis versus Geno last night on Monday Night Football.
The resurrection.
That was kind of interesting. I, wrote a little editorial today for a Deal Volkswagen Deforrest Files about Jameis Winston.
Nice.
High praise for Jameis Winston. I thought, and remember we said this before anybody really, had any big to do about it, that him signing there as a backup to Drew Brees, a 1-year deal, and then they gave Taysom Hill all of that money, and everybody's thinking, what on earth are they thinking? Taysom Hill, he's not really a quarterback, right? He's this, he's that. And Jameis Winston would have seemed to be the natural heir apparent. I thought that could turn out to be one of the most significant quarterback changes of the 2020 campaign.
So far.
I guess Brady might have eclipsed what happened with Jameis Winston. He's throwing the rock pretty well. Wow, the Saints, I think they play Tampa Bay. Do they this week? Is that right, Lubie? I was looking over the schedule there, but it becomes a little bit of a foggy memory, especially after that fall last night. 3 knockdown rule out on the tennis courts. Can you imagine, Lubie?
What are you doing? You need to be careful.
I have to stop hustling. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, to stop hustling. Good for you.
Can't afford to. All right, let me tell you about Deal Volkswagen. They're always hustling there. Anna's hustling to get you the best deal in town on a Volkswagen vehicle. I have 2 of them. I've said many times, I absolutely love the Tiguan. The Taos is really lighting up the automotive world. I don't know why Hertz bought all those Teslas, because they could have just gone ahead and bought 100,000 Taoses. If you can find them. They're in stock, though, at Deal Volkswagen. So if you're looking for the Taos, which is the hot new SUV in the Volkswagen line, sporty inside with all kinds of great amenities and accommodations there for all of your comfort, and at the same time, boom, you got all of the advantages of driving an SUV, a little bit smaller than the Tiguan. Go online, dealvolkswagen.com. You can see the full stock of inventory at Deal Volkswagen. They have certified pre-owns at unbelievable, unbeatable prices at Deal Volkswagen. Anna makes buying a car there so easy. They are great people to deal with. Jersey Kyle has sent like 17 people in there to buy cars. They all came away absolutely thrilled with the deal that they got. They can't believe it, that the prices could be that low, the service that great, and the transaction happened that quickly. At Deal Volkswagen, dealvolkswagen.com, 3601 Bird Road here in South Florida in the heart of Coral Gables, or you can give them a call at 305-448-DEEL. And we'll be back with more. Lots more to do here. Ion Channel. And appreciate you guys tuning in also for a little replay on WWNN 1470, loud and clear all over Broward County. It was great. First time in a long time I've heard myself do anything on the radio. You sound good, though, Lubie.
Thank you, sir. You sound tremendous.
And how is it that we have better equipment in this venture than we did at iHeartRadio?
I don't know if we do. You do. You've been at home for a while. You're using sportscaster mics, and they're not really made for long-term broadcasting. They're made for out in a crowd with yelling, and then you do a game. They're not made for in a room doing broadcasting. You now have a pro mic. Look at you.
Yeah. Is that why that particular microphone actually had like a Campbell's label on it? They were talking into like 2 soup cans, a little piece of string. Hello? Are we on? Back with more in a moment here on Ion Channel. Now that.
The time.
As we say, it's just beginning to be party time. Here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development, and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come.
Hey folks, Tony Segreto here. What if I told you you could go to a great restaurant, feel completely safe because their COVID protocol is unmatched, have an amazing meal, have a great time. When the bill comes, you won't get sticker shock. You're going to say, that's too good to be true. No, it's not, because I'm talking about Texas Roadhouse. Great family atmosphere, great atmosphere for a couple, great atmosphere if you just want to go by yourself and watch a game and have the coldest beer in town. And while you're doing that, have the best bread in town. All at Texas Roadhouse. Everything you get there is fresh every day and made sure it's served at your table, hot and ready to go. And the best part is you don't get sticker shock because the prices are amazing. Texas Roadhouse.
Recently, we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you go into court without an attorney? So why would you go up against an insurance company without Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa? 7 to 10 times more money recovered with a public adjuster than if you went on your own. If there's no recovery, there's no fee. Give them a call at 954-809-8752. Why go up against insurance companies alone when you can have Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa on your side? These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Play the ponies in style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey, it's Mike Mayo, the Gambling Gourmet here for my friends over at Shenanigans Sports Pub. It's a great place to go to take in a game, a good meal, and a couple of drinks. My friend Patrick, he's been doing it a long time, and he's got 2 locations. West Side is right across from TY Park in Hollywood. And then the East Side location is at 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Shenanigans is the place for wings, burgers, barbecue, fresh fish, anything you want, drink specials, late night dining, outdoor dining. It is the place to go, family friendly. Go to Shenanigans and tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you.
The great Lawrence Taylor with us here at 940 Wins, 1230 The Zone. Your relationship with Parcells.
We've always been friends from the first time I met him in the University of North Carolina. And Bill was a great guy because he would get on the bus. We'd get on the bus on Sunday. You know, getting ready to play the game. We get on the bus and he'll go through his roll call. He looked down that row. He say, LT, you here? And I would say, yeah, coach, I'm here. He would say, okay, bus driver, let's go. We got enough
to win. From South Florida to the entire world, here is Defo joined by Lubie on the Defo Show.
That wasn't just gratuitous radio laughter with that LT interview, Lubie. The man was on an absolute roll.
He was
before he got to that clip.
We had been warned about 20 million things about LT to the point where we were sort of uptight, and then
you were uptight. You were always uptight. I was.
Well, even you, like the one and only, the lovely Robin West had handled LT, and LT for years people wanted him at Radio Row. He had never done it. Miami's backyard, so it was down here. He was there. But she gave me like a list.
Something got a free round of golf at Miami Beach Country Club or something.
A list of things to not touch. So you and I were fine, but I'm just saying we didn't want to make the first move. Before we said anything, he got into like Parcells on his own. I'm like, okay. And then from that moment on, he was great.
It was one of those Don King interviews where you really don't have to do anything. Hey, Don, how you doing today? Let me tell you this. Jeff Deforrest of Ion Channel. A great move by you. No, he would go on forever. And all you had to do was hold up a sign and have your name on it and what station you were with Don King. But Lawrence Taylor was great that day, and it was fantastic. Came to us first. That was the kind of thing that we were bringing people on the local radio airwaves here for many, many years. But, it kind of flew under the radar there, some of that stuff. Very much unnoticed. You know, they would question the $8 that you paid for a bagel at the commissary there. They tried to turn in on your expense report, even though they were only paying you like $9 an hour to do the job. Here on Ion Channel, we're happy to be here. I mean, this is a very prosperous organization, and they do it right. WWNN catching the first hour of the program today. And Lawrence Taylor there on Radio Row. That was great stuff. Jimmy Johnson, I actually said that when we had him on the show from Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill. That was a great conversation with the lovely and talented Leslie Visser, an NFL Hall of Famer, taking part in that particular program. And I just sent Leslie a text. How do we not have a bet on Syracuse, BC this weekend?
Oh, what are you doing?
That should involve a very expensive dinner if I win, and a very cheap. Maybe we can get a hot dog somewhere. Maybe some of those arepas outside the FTX arena now. Or the Miami Heat are just bludgeoning people when they're at home, as they did again last night over the Orlando Magic, a somewhat nemesis franchise in Heat history. Are they not? As rotten as the Orlando Magic have mostly been. They had a brief moment of glory here and there. I mean, at one time they had Shaquille O'Neal.
And then young Dwight Howard, they made a finals run.
Penny. I mean, they had some players on that team over the course of time. Not that many.
No.
But enough to be significant at different times. And, wow, I mean, they've been a nemesis, as bad as they are. But not last night. Jimmy Butler, your man, came through like a champ here. He had been shooting poorly, 13 of 32 going into the ball game, Mr. Eric Reed. And 15 of 21 last night. So shook off his early season slump in terms of basket efficiency. And came up with a big ball game last night. 36 points in a game for Jimmy Butler. The Heat win 107-90. Part of a big slate of NBA action. I don't know. How easy is it to get into the NBA early in the season? I guess if your team gets on a run, that's certainly not the case. This is the town without pity, as we've said many times. What the town without pity won't do. Gene Pitney wrote that song. I believe, was that a theme song for like a Bond movie or some movie? Town Without Pity?
It's been in a lot of movies. That song's actually been in a lot of movies.
Tell me that is not the epitome of what South Florida is like on the sports landscape. The town without pity, man. That people here do not care.
No.
That is too much to do, man. We can go windsurfing.
See, that's lame because New York, the biggest markets have the most things to do, and they're the biggest sports fans. Like New York, Boston, LA has plenty to do, and they support their teams wholeheartedly.
They don't have sunshine, my friend.
I guess
everybody's talking at me. That was my Reto Rizzo dream, man. Come down to Florida here. You can play ball all year long. Although the way that I've been falling on the tennis courts lately,
you be careful.
You know, and then I mean the soreness, you know, that you experience as you get older. You used to be able to just shake this stuff off, right? Come right back out there. But when you're in the octogenarian category, I mean, there were people standing over me for like a half an hour. You all right? You okay?
You're already
smelling
blind.
salts were coming out. Lou Duva was telling me, "Come on, kid, you can keep playing." Lou Duva from the grave was speaking to me.
You be careful, man. You're freaking me out.
All right, I enjoyed this ball game last night. I know you're a Jameis Winston fan.
I am.
And we talked about this briefly in the first segment of the program, but it's fascinating. And it was unfortunate. They did this beautiful piece about the vital transformation, the almost transcendental meditation that Jameis Winston is now doing to be a more professional football player and a better human being, right? I mean, he had a share of jackpots. I don't know. That was some pretty sketchy investigating that cop was doing in Tallahassee. Well, we can't lose our quarterback. And he just happened to be like the head of security for the boosters of Seminole football, the cop that was doing the investigation on that sexual assault allegation, which I don't mean to marginalize at all, either side of that, right? If Jameis Winston was indeed not guilty of any wrongdoing in that particular case, then this should have never come up.
Yeah.
And, you know, the woman accuser, if she was actually sexually abused, then it's a travesty of justice that took place there.
Yep.
What did you think when they went in front of the student panel? And I think they were also playing USC in a key game for their chances of winning a national championship the following day. Did you think that there was any chance that the student council would say, "Oh, no, this guy can't play"?
No, never. It
He's
was the whole look, and I'm a Noel through and through, and I love Jameis and I defend him, but
you did defend him all throughout that. But had it been your daughter, you always have to put that in your head.
I never defended him wholeheartedly. I just said, look, I'm not going to throw him to the wolves until we know anything, but I'm also not going to say he's innocent. Like, the investigation was botched from the beginning. The Tallahassee Police Department, in true small town college football fashion.
Oh, they buried this.
Whether they hit it or not, whatever they want to say they did not do. They like took the girl.
Bobby Bowden was wiping his ass with the affidavit.
They did not do a good job.
He literally was. You know, Bobby was a good guy. We love Bobby Bowden. I mean, I don't ever mean to make any disparaging remarks.
He was the coach at that time. God rest his soul. At that
time,
he
wasn't? Jimbo was coaching?
Yeah, Jimbo. That was the year they won the title. Wasn't that when
That's
he
right.
won a Heisman that year?
I'm not ashamed that you were more familiar with FSU history than I am. All I remember is wide right, wide left. And then there was that time that they doused Bowden and they called back the made field goal. He had just won like the national championship. They called back the made field goal, and they had to take a blow dryer around and dry him back off so that he could celebrate when didn't the guy eventually make that kick?
It was the next play. That's the best video of Bobby is they show him he looks so lost. He's like, what?
Soaked, man. Yeah, he's gone, man. He's a shot fighter completely there. I think that's when the board of directors decided, or board of trustees, you better get Jimbo ready. No, sign him to anything he wants.
It was 93. That wasn't Jimbo.
Jimbo Fisher and Neil O'Donnell are the two guys that benefited the most from being free agents and available. Are they not?
Yes.
They can't give these guys enough money to be like, I don't know. Is Jimbo mediocre? He does have a title, but lately, you know what? The big win, Texas A&M over Alabama. You have to give him that. In fact, he should go straight to the College Football Hall of Fame.
Doing 180.
For handing Nick Saban a mid-season to early season loss. Hey, Nick, take that. Speaking about shoving things where the sun don't shine. Not that we have any negativity about Nick Saban, but no, it's an interesting story because they had this brilliant feature on, I believe it was CBS or Fox, or whoever was carrying the game that day. Brilliant feature on Jameis Winston and the transformation that he has made. He's like listening to John McLaughlin and the Mahavishnu Orchestra.
Of course,
playing some kind of spiritual music and calling it jazz. And you're thinking, was there a chord there that was even recognizable to anybody who ever walked by the Juilliard School of Music? I don't think so. Avant-garde, though. Well, maybe that's what it's all about. So he's gone in a new direction, a brilliant feature, and then they went out and got trounced that game. And I think Jameis had a lousy ball game. Of course, he had the brilliant start to the season with 5 touchdown passes. I thought he looked pretty good last night. I mean, a couple of bozoic things happened. He had a couple of passes knocked down at the line of scrimmage late in the game, but it was horrendous conditions. Which, what kind of filters are they using on these television cameras these days? They must be so sophisticated. It was like a blizzard taking place. It looked like the ice ball game at Lambeau. You're waiting for Chuck Mercine to get a couple of carries.
Lombardi talking about seals.
There could have been seals on the field. That's how adverse the conditions were, right? They were throwing fish down from the upper deck like it was the intro to the show there in Seattle. Horrible weather, and yet when you were just watching it on the regular pan shot, you couldn't even see a drop of rain. You say, and looked like a spectacular lineup against that the Mannings had last night. I'm sorry I didn't tune that in because I can't take Louis Riddick. And I don't like to criticize other guys' work, really. I mean, look, the guy's very articulate and probably knows a lot about football. He's been in various different positions. He articulates, certain things very well, but should not be on a game babbling like that. I mean, please. It's not like, you need to understand organic chemistry to see that a guy got smacked in the face because the blocking fell completely apart, and he just ran straight into a monster defender and ended up losing a yard. That does not call for telestrators and all kinds of lengthy explanations. What is Brian Greasy doing on that broadcast? Is he an extra in the Night of the Living Dead? What's going on there?
Yeah, they just throw him in here.
Bob Greasy, not the most, what would you say, effervescent personality. You haven't had that many experiences with the great Bob Greasy, Hall of Famer.
Met him a couple times. He's very to himself.
I'm telling you, it was great. The last time we saw Greasy, and I had some dealings with Bob Greasy, and none of them were anything but mostly favorable. But you could tell that he wasn't a guy that you were going to get especially close to unless you were already close to him to begin with. And so we're standing at Shula's State 2 in the lobby there, Shula's Hotel. We were getting ready to do a show for Hialeah Park. Was it Dwight Stevenson that was holding the tournament? No, it was
Larry. What's his name?
Larry Little.
Larry Little's thing.
Former Dolphin. Stevenson is usually on the scene there. Dwight Stevenson, one of the greats of all time.
Always.
Larry Little, a tremendous player, right? I mean, just a Hall of Famer, right?
Yep.
And coached up Bethune-Cookman for a while, and he has that gravelly voice too. He has a perfect like coach's voice for, a school like Bethune-Cookman that's often found in situations where they're getting a big fat payday to get the, cremation rights against a team like Alabama. And you could hear him saying, "Okay, guys, this is your chance to show what you can do." He doesn't really sound like that, but you get the idea.
Close.
So we're sitting in the lobby doing the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge in the lobby of Shula's Hotel, and Greasy's standing in front of us, just kind of looking at the Polyman Gurgles and me for a couple of minutes. It seemed like a longer period of time. And finally, when we went to a break, we take the headsets off. He just looks at me and says, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "Hey, Bob, man. How about we do some lunch after the tournament?"
Oh, my God.
Brian is not much more of a more outgoing adaptation of that. And I guess, I don't know, what is he doing on that broadcast? Kornheiser was serving a better purpose, I think, than Brian Greasy, because Riddick never shuts up. Never.
What's funny is I like Riddick as an analyst, and you hear murmurs of the idea he may be a good GM. I'm like, oh, okay, who knows? However, you're not wrong. That broadcast, and they're fine, but the Manning
they're going crazy now the whole time, every play.
Well, they're freaking out because the Manning broadcast, you have Eli and Peyton Manning just talking football. It's like the greatest thing ever, and I can't stand Tom Brady, and even. They made Tom Brady palatable last night because.
But you get Brady to come on and shoot the breeze with you on a game like that. That's huge. Come on.
Yeah,
that's like getting Lawrence Taylor. They're on Radio Row, and every other organization was saying, hey, how the hell did you do that?
It's just cool. And I don't know why they would do that and still run that other broadcast because the main one pales in comparison to the two Mannings. It's not even close.
This guy's making Tony Kornheiser, Brian Greasy, look like Dandy Don Meredith. The party's over.
All the crappy.
All right. Our party's just beginning here on Ion Channel. We're happy to be with you. And, of course, first hour of the program on WWNN, Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. I'm trying to figure out exactly what to do with that, but we're going to do something. I was talking to Jack Namer, and he says, yeah, let's do something with that. So it looks like something's happening for Mayo. He's going to catapult to the top of the chart here. And we might be once again. We've launched a lot of great careers.
Nice.
You know, we found guys long before they ever made it big, and then after they made it big, well, I don't know. No, most of them have not turned their back on us.
Yeah, they don't forget us.
Oh, it's good. All right, Destination Sport Miami. Wow, you're never going to want to turn your back on a project like this. This thing is amazing, and we've known the people that were behind it for a long time, and includes a lot of sports greats like Brian Trottier. He's been there since the beginning. Brian Trottier, the great New York Islander. And now very much entrenched. That's kind of an odd thing. You would figure he'd be associated with the Islander organization, but very much involved with the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yes.
Brian Trottier. Anyway, he's heading up the hockey programs there. Can you get much better than that? Hall of Famer, Brian Trottier. Nope. Randy Moss was a hoot when we had him on our show there with the kickoff announcement about Destination Sport Miami and what an unbelievable project this is, what it's going to do for the South Florida sports landscape. Teams going to be coming from all over the world to use these facilities. It's going to be the largest indoor multifaceted sports facility anywhere in North America. And we keep speculating. I don't think they need to put that limit of a qualifier on it. It's going to be anywhere in the world. Unless, like we said, the Sheik gets wind of it and says, you build something bigger. Bigger is not necessarily better because this is going to be plenty big. The Destination Sport Miami facility. And down there by Top Golf in Doral, right behind there, it's already under construction. And it's going to be great. So many different things going to be happening. Going to be a big spike to the sports business industry here in South Florida as well. With I can't even remember. It was almost unfathomable. They're going to have like 2 complete football fields indoors. Yep. For teams to train at. I mean, just going to be
soccer fields, basketball arenas,
soccer,
EA,
basketball,
esports arena, like soccer, everything, like volleyball. They're doing everything. Lacrosse, they got it all, and it'll be amazing.
Kids are going to love it too. Yeah, not just elite athletes. I mean, you got Levon Hernandez running the baseball program. Glenn Rice, G Money. There's a 3 out of the corner, and wow, look at that. Michigan is on its way to the championship. He was great with the Miami Heat, too, Glenn Rice. We were so happy when they drafted him. So happy he's part of Destination Sport Miami. Check it out online, destinationsportmiami.com. And this is the coming thing, and you're going to love it. We're so happy to represent him here on the show. Back with more in a moment. Now that. Almost time for Harvey Fialkov, Brett Tessler, our usual Tuesday suspects here on the show. That's coming up.
Since day one of Old School, we've had Catholic Health Services be part of our family. They are recognized as the quintessential rehab facility in the Southeast for strokes, but it goes well beyond strokes because Catholic Health Services is in the community of South Florida to help the community stay healthy. And if they're not healthy, get them healthy and get them back on their feet quicker than they could have ever expected. They do it every single day. It's step and repeat 24/7. Catholic Health Services.
Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come. Championship meet is right around the corner at Gulfstream Park. The only place for live racing, Gulfstream's action has never been hotter. Whether it's on the track, in the casino, or part of the dining and entertainment offered at the Village of Gulfstream Park. Currently running Thursday through Sunday, Gulfstream's racing package is the best in the country, with all the top horses and people in the game pointing towards another tremendous winter season. Check out the remodeled first floor casino, open 7 days and nights a week, along with the many special events and concerts happening at Gulfstream Park. You can place your wagers from anywhere at firstbet.com. Check the calendar of events at gulfstreampark.com.
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen.
Your little toss. Your little toss.
Come on.
Oh,
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. Thank God.
Okay, that'll be. You idiot.
Thank God.
Thank God, please. There's nothing to do with God.
We now return to the Defo Show.
Getting some messages here, and it's great. I don't know exactly. How do you communicate with us here on this message board, Mike Lubie Lubitz? Jeff Deforrest, Mike Lubie Lubitz, the Defo Show here on Ion Channel. And this hour of the broadcast on WWNN. And this is an interesting proposition here from a guy named Big Possum. That's his moniker. And it says, is it true? Are these tweets? Is it true that you're doing this so you don't have to play Jersey Kyle songs?
And that's not
why you moved over to this aspect of broadcasting. I think there's some truth to that. I believe Big Possum is on something.
In an hour and a half, I played 3 if you count the opens.
All right. No, I believe this man is on something. Do you think Mark Zuckerberg has unfriended Frances Haugen yet on Facebook?
I don't know.
Has she been blocked? I mean, she's in England now, testifying in front of the Queen. They're trying to ruin everybody's lives. Now, what is Facebook? I don't know. Is it really that influential, Lubie? I see all of the hoopla over this story and the whistleblower, and she's saying they ignored data that proved to them that all of this hate stuff was causing maybe even the insurrection there at the Capitol building. That Zuckerberg may have been behind that. While he is just rolling marijuana cigarettes into $100 bills because he couldn't be making enough money there with Facebook. But I mean, look, what was its purpose, Lubie? It was for young people originally, right?
Yep.
To communicate. And then for the old geezers, you could pick up chicks that you dated in high school and hope that they look the same, right? I tried that a couple of times. Believe me, that is not a tactic that you want to mess with. And people are hip to that now. I mean, nobody's contacting ex-girlfriends from 40 years ago, except Jersey Kyle, but he happened to luck into something.
It worked. It worked for him.
All right. Well, we have to run to our people on WWNN. Thanks for carrying that first hour of the program. We'll continue on Ion Channel here live on the Defo Show. Defo and Mike Lubie Lubitz with you. Harvey Fialkov going to join us for the first time in this new venture. And Brett Tessler, the agent to the stars, also going to be with us in the next hour of the program. So stick with us. We'll be with you until 9 o'clock here Eastern time. And we thank you guys so much for tuning in and finding us. It seems like it's growing every day. I don't know. Is it, Lubie? Is that just a blind statement? All right. All right. Back in a moment. Now that.
The time.
I have to say sayonara on 1470.
It's the Gambling Gourmet for Cafe Seville in Fort Lauderdale. It's one of my favorite places. It is old school joint that's serving Spanish and classic continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly setting. It's at 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. We're open every day except Sunday for dinner, starting at 5 p.m. You go in there, you see Joey and his better half, Sally. They are giving the greatest in service. And the food, oh my gosh, it's paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, stuffed veal chop. They serve this great, fantastic, warm sourdough bread. Go to Cafe Seville in Fort Lauderdale and tell them that the Gambling Gourmet sent you.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. What if I told you you could go to a great restaurant, feel completely safe because their COVID protocol is unmatched, have an amazing meal, have a great time. When the bill comes, you won't get sticker shock. You're going to say, that's too good to be true. No, it's not, because I'm talking about Texas Roadhouse. Great family atmosphere, great atmosphere for a couple, great atmosphere if you just want to go by yourself and watch a game and have the coldest beer in town. And while you're doing that, have the best bread in town. All at Texas Roadhouse. Everything you get there is fresh every day and made sure it's served at your table, hot and ready to go. And the best part is you don't get sticker shock because the prices are amazing. Texas Roadhouse.
Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development, and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking. Destination Sport Miami will be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come.
Since day one of Old School, we've had Catholic Health Services be part of our family. They are recognized as the quintessential rehab facility in the Southeast for strokes, but it goes well beyond strokes because Catholic Health Services is in the community of South Florida to help the community stay healthy. And if they're not healthy, get them healthy and get them back on their feet quicker than they could have ever expected. They do it every single day. It's step and repeat, 24/7, Catholic Health Services.
Buy or lease a house and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen. We welcome to the show the great Dave Dombrowski. Did you think that first Charlie Huff pitch was a strike from your location in the press box?
The first one, yes, but I'm not so sure about that strike three there. Now, Offerman knows how to put an amp outside. So that's the one we talked about all the time because we sit back and laugh, and Frank Foley was the umpire, and Frank's a good umpire and a good man. But and Latch and I used to talk about it, and we still do when we see each other. Like, can you believe that called that pitch a strike? I think he was so much caught up in the emotion that he wanted to be the first one to ring somebody up in that game, and boom. I wish I could say, oh yeah, that was close, but I can't make that argument support. But I love the call.
Yeah, even Maddox wouldn't have gotten that call.
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on the Defo Show.
Well, once again, everybody, great to have you with us here on Ion Channel. I'm Jeff Deforrest, along with one Mike Lubitz, and skyrocketing up the charts here among the Ion Channel properties. We thank Jack Namer for having us here on the program. Harvey Fialkov going to join us later on. He was one of our Tuesday regulars on our previous radio show. Harvey was with us for many, many years. And it was great once he became like a guy that wasn't actually on site because I didn't have to put a screen in front of my face. It's one of those guys, I mean, that spray eats. I mean, you talk about a spray hitter. But Harvey, always great, a longtime sports writer here, South Florida. Huge sports fan, too. I mean, his unbridled enthusiasm is enough to get you at least thinking, hey, I'm alive and happy to be here on the planet. So Harvey's going to join us later on. If he spends a lot of the time fetching about the Yankees, though, do we cut off the first person?
Yes.
here on the show. Yeah, I mean, how much crying can you do? I guess the thing with Cashman and extending Aaron Boone was kind of interesting. Most Yankee fans were hoping that Boone would go away. But as Cashman said, well, all I would be doing was hiring another guy that's just like him, another loser. That was great logic. I think Brian's, getting calls from Lisa Meanwell in the middle of the night, right? That chick that he met at the soccer game that eventually trying to extort money from him. And then he finally had to admit to his wife, well, no, it wasn't like I was at Starbucks all that time. Come on, Brian. What a disgrace. Anyway, people in New York seem to want to go ahead and embrace Brian Cashman as being a great GM. I don't know. Is he really that great, Lubie? What's he done lately? 2009, the last time they won the championship, the Yankees, New York Yankees.
He's fine, but yeah, I mean, we've seen this in sports. Like after a certain amount of time, things plateau. It feels like the Yankees are sort of in need of an injection of some newness when it comes to executives.
All right, here's how the sporting landscape has changed, and maybe it's changing in our favor. I think it is. I think, as the song goes, your time is gonna come. Lately, I've been reading a lot of favorable transcripts there when I've been reading my horoscope, saying things like, hey, everything's looking up, Deef. All right, do you buy that? I mean, does it happen? Does it correspond with like a favorable horoscope? This is not like a fortune cookie where everyone is.
My wife loves that stuff. I don't know. I've never been too big on that stuff either way. I mean, I hope it's positive, but.
Anybody ever taken the numbers off a fortune cookie and actually played them in like a lottery or something and won? I suppose it's not unprecedented, but nonetheless, I'm a believer in these things because I am affected by the phases of the moon, Lubie. I don't know if you find yourself that way. I don't know your astrological sign there.
I'm a Libra.
Which would be what? A Libra.
I'm Libra. Just had my birthday. I'm a Libra.
Wouldn't that, kind of be indicative of somebody who is a lot stronger? Well, you are strong-willed. It's just that you completely Svengali'd out and capitulate to the whims of a woman, which I don't know. Every now and then you want to draw a line in the sand there, my friend. Just take a stand. and that's what they tell you to do in this endeavor here. But it's interesting how the sporting landscape has changed completely. And we talked about this yesterday. I mean, it kind of stunned me. I hadn't seen that before. The crawl underneath the NFL action, reminding people to gamble responsibly.
I love that.
And I mean, this was a long, long way. I mean, a big diversion from where they were before. And, which was to not even mention it, right? Alex Karras, I don't know. Did he just mention betting? Paul Horning, he was a degenerate gambler. He was great. Of course he was betting on these football games. You think he was betting against Lombardi? I doubt it, right? What, was he going to trip up Jim Taylor in the backfield there so that the Packers wouldn't cover another enormous point spread back in the days?
Whatever.
But anyway, we're living with this now. And so I was trying to research because we always say it's the bets that you whiff on that really cause you the aggravation and the damage to the psyche of most gamblers is pretty much predicated on the bets that you don't make that naturally win. So here I am, Mr. Baseball, right? Okay. I should be working for Musburger, right? The Barry America program.
Probably.
But I found over the years, and I don't know, I mean, it'd probably be proven to be exactly wrong and the direct opposite if we actually started picking games here on the air. But I was a reasonably decent judge of what was going to happen in baseball. I don't know who's going to win this World Series. My lean, sadly, is towards the Braves, so I would unload on the Houston Astros in this thing. What happened to Zach Greinke, by the way? Does he look like he's coming from the planet Lovetron when he's out there in the mound? I know he has some kind of thing like that Jim Eisenreich had where he doesn't really feel comfortable in front of people, even though he pitches and performs in front of like 50,000 people in the postseason. Exactly. And Greinke was brilliant, right? He was an influential part of the rotation, was he not, for the Astros this year? Because when he was out there in his last postseason appearance, I think they let him throw like 3 pitches to one batter. And he looked like, he was in need of a trip to a psycho ward. He really did. I mean, he looked lost. He looked like Rudy Giuliani in that press conference. When the color was dripping from the side of
his hair,
bald head. I mean, hey, Rudy, how about some Krylon? What was he using on that head?
Krylon.
Krylon.
I needed more.
Ron Popeil tried to peddle that. Led to an early grave. No, he lived into his 80s. tremendous inventor. I wish he would invent something that could actually effectively trim nose hair. Because those things, did you ever buy one of those? You especially should have one, right? You're growing like you have a vineyard coming out of each nostril. But those little things that you put the battery in and they go.
Yep, I have one. They don't work at all, but I have one. Yes.
They never work. They don't do a thing,
No,
man.
They suck.
Literally, you could swallow one of those things and not injure yourself. It's crazy. While it's going. I think the batteries are going to run out soon. Don't worry. But anyway, yeah, you would have thought Popeil might have come up with something like that. But I punch up. I was going to bet the Atlanta Braves before the season, Lubie. Did I mention that? I thought the Braves were going to win the World Series this year. So here they are in the World Series. And it brings up another magic question. But just to get to the gist of it here, I try to punch up the odds before the season. I want to say that the Braves were 6 or 8 to 1. Does that sound like a decent number? They were knocking on a door, just missed making a World Series last year. Came back with a great team. And then on top of that, they went for it, and they added in some key players at the trade deadline this year. And those players indeed did make a difference, as the Braves were the best team in baseball after the trade deadline. The Braves, I believe, went something like 44-22, played like 667 baseball in the last 60-some-odd games of the season. That really came on, as they were under 500 at the trade deadline. Mike Lubitz, under 500 without Acuna. And Acuna being out of the lineup, you would figure it'd be like taking Willie Mays in his prime out of the lineup for the San Francisco Giants. Same type of player. Is that fair? No. Did I just compare Acuna to Willie Mays, the great Willie Mays? Might be. I mean, someday Acuna would have a long way to go, but certainly is a very compelling player and an integral part of any success the Braves are going to have. He's gone for the season, and you would have thought that bet would have gone up in smoke, but here we are sitting there, and all I can find, though, I can't find the odds, the preseason odds, anywhere online. I just punched this up. There are 9 pages of World Series predictions. 9 pages, Lubie, of odds for the World Series and World Series predictions. In fact, even Rob Manfred, the commissioner of baseball, has his World Series picks, which he'll gladly sell you for $100. The commissioner is cashing.
I love how they all were so against gambling. Now they've all embraced it like it's their best friend ever. That's my favorite.
This is insane. But I don't know. Does anybody know out there in our listening audience? You can pop it up on this message board here. What the odds on the Braves were before the season started to win the World Series? Because that's what I'd be looking at. Now, I don't know. I mean, I'm reluctant to let go of money that's going to have to sit for a long time in some bookie's pocket. So I don't make a lot of these proposition bets. So, of course, we had the dreadful run for 71 with the Marlins this year, as we needed the Marlins to go over for Teal Volkswagen. 71 victories for the season. And, I mean, it wasn't even close. I mean, this year was a disaster, huh? How is that possible, right? 2 teams in town completely, just collapsing right in front of our face. With plans that were in place from, the 5-year plans that are in like year 3 or 4. And just nothing, right? Zero response, not even a pulse. Is he alive? Right? They're putting paddles to those 2 franchises. When will we have Deshaun Watson, by the way, Louis? What do you think?
The trade deadline's the 2nd, so I guess tomorrow. I don't know. Sometime this week, I guess. I have no idea what's going on with that.
Brian Flores was all over Tua.
I know. I love Tua.
He's my man. So.
He's my favorite, yeah.
Very much like Bartini, I mean, it was Bartini all along. That's a kiss of death, my friends.
Exactly.
Yeah. Tua's about to get whacked.
He's
all right, we're coming back with more. We were trying to get in touch with Harvey Fialkov, and is he going to shine us on his first appearance here on the show? Harvey Fialkov, he was begging to come back. Begging. I mean, I got bombarded with texts from Harvey saying, I want to get back on the show. I want to get back on the show. Sounded like you a little bit. And sure enough, I mean, we can't find a guy. So Brett Tessler, the agent to the Stars, also going to be with us here. Great to be with you on Ion Channel, and we appreciate Ion Channel, everything they're doing for us. We're going to try an experiment later this week in a couple of days, waiting to hear back and see what it's going to take to get our show up and running. Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge on Thursday from Hialeah Park with the Polyman Paul Massell, the great Dave Gurgles Gurgley, and all of you guys participating in an all-out sprint to see who can win. Are we still giving away Landlubbers gift certificates?
And we do have Landlubbers involved. You heard their spot, the one and only, talking about degenerates, the clean but very degenerate Alex Ufreen is excited to be continuing his involvement with the Defo Show with Lubie, and we will still be giving away gift certificates to Landlubbers. on our trivia
May
challenge.
was telling me, and you were a witness to this, that chicken wings are now market price in some places.
What do you mean?
In
What's it
such
called?
short supply and they're so expensive that now they've had to go. And as we've said, I mean, ugly two-word groupings are among my favorite things in life. And market price might be the ugliest of them all.
It's right there. It's right.
It's
right
second,
there.
maybe behind I Do.
I do.
7 Out. Steward's Inquiry.
Steward's Inquiry.
Don't remind me of the Argentine
That's okay.
tango thing.
That's
The
okay.
polyman's still sick to his stomach. He turns white, an ashen shade of white, every time we mention that this horse got taken down. He's coming down, Polyman. He's coming down. All right, maybe you're coming down to Hialeah Park, and hopefully we'll be there on Thursday. I have my fingers crossed. I had a big meeting with Jack yesterday, and they said, yep, we can do that. So we're looking forward to being out there. Champion Simulcasting Room, just a beautiful place, and you'll get to see a little of it. Maybe we can do a little pan shot, Lubie. What do you think? Get a little creative with the camera there?
Yeah, that's the
Nobody's
goal.
wanna
You're
look
able
at
to
three
get
ugly
camera. You
guys?
should be able to get the three of you, and then you get me here. I mean, it should be very doable.
Should be doable, yeah. And maybe we take a couple of wide shots of how beautiful Champion Simulcasting Room
Yeah,
is.
you do the
Because
whole thing.
I was just at Keeneland. We took a prior trip to Del Mar. There's no better simulcasting room in the country. You really get to feel that you're at a beautiful racetrack because you are at Hialeah Park. Still has all of its inherent beauty. The grounds, Dennis Testa does a tremendous job there and keeps everything. I don't know how he does it, man. Lubie, I mean, it was hard enough to manage a small lawn when I had one. And it eventually turned, I put rocks in there thinking, well, that looks cool. And then the weeds started popping up. How does Testa keep those grounds looking like you're coming out to see Secretariat Run? Just
I
unbelievable.
don't know. He's a legend. It's
At
amazing.
Hialeah Park. And they've infused and perfectly synthesized the old and the new with a dazzling casino, all kinds of great stuff going on there. People love playing in the Hialeah Park Casino because you're in there with a shot to win. Steve Calabro wouldn't have it any other way. And then great food and drink all over the place. Lots of activities. Frankie Fiore is planning a big party here, getting back in action with a lot of things.
Nice.
Supposedly boxing on the horizon and many other special events. So check the calendar, HialeahPark.com. The Brunetti's doing an outstanding job. Really, one of the leading casinos and places to play anywhere in the country. Make your plans to be at beautiful Hialeah Park. And make your plans to stick with us. We'll be back with more on Ion Channel in a moment. Now that.
The time.
Harvey, where are you?
I got Harvey, by the way. He'll be on next segment.
Play the ponies in style at Champions, the standing simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style. And you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. What if I told you you could go to a great restaurant, feel completely safe because their COVID protocol is unmatched, have an amazing meal, have a great time. When the bill comes, you won't get sticker shock. You're going to say, that's too good to be true. No, it's not, because I'm talking about Texas Roadhouse. Great family atmosphere, great atmosphere for a couple, great atmosphere if you just want to go by yourself and watch a game and have the coldest beer in town. And while you're doing that, have the best bread in town. All at Texas Roadhouse. Everything you get there is fresh every day and made sure it's served at your table, hot and ready to go. And the best part is you don't get sticker shock because the prices are amazing. Texas Roadhouse.
Hey, it's Mike Mayo for Even Keel Fish Shack, corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard at Lauderdale by the Sea. It's my favorite place now for great seafood in a casual beachfront setting. They've got happy hour 4 to 7 Monday through Friday. They've got great dishes like grilled oysters and oysters on the half shell, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, octopus. They also have burgers and chicken for those who don't like the seafood. They're open 7 days a week for a lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack. Go say hi to Dave and Brad and tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you.
Recently, we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you go into court without an attorney? So why would you go up against an insurance company without Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa? 7 to 10 times more money recovered with a public adjuster than if you went on your own. If there's no recovery, there's no fee. Give them a call at 954-809-8752. Why go up against insurance companies alone when you can have Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa on your side?
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen.
Hear me. I am your new president. From this day on, the official language of San Marcos will be Swedish. Silence! In addition to that, all citizens will be required to change their underwear every half hour. Underwear will be worn on the outside so we can check. Furthermore, all children under 16 years old are now 16 years old.
What's the Spanish word for straitjacket? Power has driven him mad.
Welcome back to The Defo Show.
No doubt a little strange Woody Allen, but he was onto something there. That movie was what, early, mid-70s?
And it's still
Like Lubitz?
Yes.
We're almost there. A couple of votes go the other way. We were right back there. All right. Welcome back to the show. Great to be with you. Ion's channel here and having a great time on this fine Tuesday. Now, Tuesday, and for many years, we had a couple of regulars in the second hour of the program that we did, and they became very, very popular with the local audience. Now introducing these gentlemen around the world, at least for the first time appearing here on the show. We welcome to the program. And I have to preface this by saying there's no crying in baseball unless you're a Yankee fan. And this man crying all the time. The great Harvey Fialkov, longtime sports writer, covered virtually everything down here in the South Florida area, and was traveling all over the country on a rather robust expense account at the time. That was back in the heyday of sports and newspapers and broadcasting, which now has expanded to other formats, thank God. Otherwise, we would be on a street corner saying, we'll talk for food or something. Harvey Fialkov joins us here on the show. Well, good friend of the program. Harvey, how are you? Good to have you on our new venture here on Ion Channel.
Good morning. This is exciting. The world stage. But you're right. Sports writing isn't as much fun as it used to be. Now they have Zoom meetings and Zoom interviews. You don't even go to the games anymore. But still I missed it. But I just covered a tennis tournament in Vero Beach. I'm going to cover another Junior Orange Bowl tennis tournament in December. Working for an Orlando-based magazine called Onyx. Umpiring on the weekends. So I'm keeping busy. And, of course, listening to you guys on the internet. This is awesome.
Oh, great. Great to have you with us. All right. I asked my friend, a Polyman, who he's not as psychotic about Yankee baseball as you are, but he is as big a Yankee fan and as knowledgeable a guy as I've known about the New York Yankees. And, of course, his history goes back to guys like in his early 70s, and he's been a fan, like many of us, of baseball since we were 3-4 years old, our earliest memories. But he was maybe inclined to believe that if they were going to rehire Aaron Boone, which I know you're not a big fan of Aaron Boone and his handling of the bullpen. That seems to be the biggest criticism, the way that he uses pitchers. Mushnick's all over it in the New York Post saying, Aaron Boone's great because a guy will come in, strike out 2 guys to end an inning on 6 pitches, and he'll take them out and put Chapman in, who's been ice cold. A lot of managers do this. They have their formula, and they're going to stick to it no matter what. We'll probably see some of this in the World Series. But what did you think about the 3-year deal that was given to Aaron Boone as an extension or a new contract, and then Cashman's rationale, which I thought was beautiful, And it was to the tune of, maybe paraphrasing a little bit here, well, why would I fire Booney when all that would happen is I'd hire somebody else that was just like him? And you're thinking,
okay,
is the man lost his mind? I mean, well, what kind of a statement is that from a general manager?
Yeah, Deep. I listened to that whole interview with Cashman saying that if Bruin was out there, everyone would be after to hire him. Listen, I love the way he handles his players. He doesn't throw them under the bus. He's pretty good with the regular guys in the lineup, 1 to 8. But he is atrocious with the bullpen. That you just alluded to. Push button manage. I can't stand it. To me, Jeff, the more relievers you use, the more one is likely to screw up. I mean, go with the guy just gets out of an inning, throws 9 pitches, strikes out 3, and then he takes them out because he's saving them for the next day. Or he'll never use guys 2 or 3 days in a row. Come on, these guys are throwing 1 inning. And I'm so sick. You got to get rid of Chapman. How many years are going to go up and down with this guy? He's not a rarity anymore. Everybody throws 103 now. They got this kid Lodiga, and they have a good bullpen. He just doesn't know how to use it. He needs to hire a bullpen coach only. He needs to stay away from the bullpen. They also need to shed some of this garbage they have. Joey Gallo, I'll trade him for a bottle of Gallo. This guy, I don't want a lifetime 200 hitter, strikes out, 150 times a year, and sure, he'll occasional home run. I don't want this guy in the team. Gary Sanchez, the worst defensive catcher in the history of baseball, needs to leave the Bronx. I do like Torres back at second. I want to re-sign Coral Springs' own Rizzo. He wants to play for the Yankees. Great defensive play. Still got a lot left in the bag. They'll put DJ at third. And they got to re-sign Corey Seager. They got to sign Corey Seager from the Dodgers. Left-handed hitter, great shortstop. I want him on the team. Hey, Jeff.
A typical Yankee fan, though, Harvey. I mean, why don't you just dig up the Bambino as part of your scenario also, and maybe bring back Lou Gehrig and Roger and the Mick? Everybody. Yeah. We'll just take these guys that are stars with the Dodgers. They don't want to sign with you. Oh, my God. All right. We need to move on to the World Series here. This is – don't even bother with the rest of this. We understand. You're not a big fan of Aaron Boone.
Wait a second. The ATS was the American Cheetah Series between the Astros and the Red Sox.
There you go. Still bitter. I mean, forget about it. Let it go, man. We got canned by Fox Radio a month ago. We don't care anymore. I mean, it's over. Don't look back. Somebody may be gaining on you, Harvey. All right, let's look at the World Series here, because this is now a little bit more sickening than I thought it was going to be. And we have a listener, and we have a message board here that people can type in their comments on Ion Channel. And a gentleman named Big Possum has been following the show. And I was trying to see what I find this a little bit high on the high end here. That you could get 22-1 on the Braves. That's impossible to win the World Series before the season. I want to say that they were like 6 or 8-1, but because they had Acuna then, and they had just been knocking on the door. I mean, they just missed being in the World Series the previous season, and a lot of times you see this in sports where a team is kind of coming together. And they knock on the door. It happens in the NBA all the time. They have to knock on the door a couple of times before they break through. Now, they've been knocking on this door since like 1995, I think.
Exactly.
Was their last World Series win. And 99 was their last trip there. So the Braves are breaking through and maybe even operating under maybe that's the same curse that afflicted Kyle Shanahan that they were operating under. But I can't believe they were 22-1. But this is nonetheless. I mean, you may not like the Houston Astros because they beat your Yankees, and we can still hear. I mean, was that not the perfect series? The title, "Bang the Drum Slowly," because that's what they were doing. And who needs to have Altuve being aware that Chapman's throwing a changeup? Because it doesn't matter what he throws up there at this point. So. The Astros, though, have maintained their level at the top. They're back in the postseason. They're in the World Series again. And most of the experts, Harvey Fialkov, feel that this is a very even-Steven World Series. So what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. Well, the Astros starting pitching's hurt, and no more Verlander. He's hurt. They really don't have good starters. But I do love the way this kid Alvarez is playing. He reminds me of Big Papi, the way he's playing ping pong off the Fenway Green Monster. And, of course, Correa is a great shortstop. The Yankees could pick him up, but I don't want that guy on my team. Another cheater. But Altuve is clutch. Now, they have a great lineup. They missed Springer, obviously, for Toronto now. He's a hell of a player. But overall, they have the best team. The Bravos had the 12th best record in baseball. Just shows you when you get hot is the key to most sports. And they picked it up at the right time. It's the manager. I love the manager matchup, like the 70-year-olds with Dusty Baker against Snidegar. I mean, both have Hank Aaron influences. Pretty interesting there. I guess Aaron highest Snidegar, and Dusty Baker was on deck when Aaron hit his 715. So it's going to be a fun series. I think it's going to be a lot of hitting, Jeff. I just don't see the pitching by either team right now. But the Braves are on fire right now. They are the hottest team coming in. I'm going to go with the Bravos. Obviously, you know I can't stand the Astros. So I'm going with the Braves in 6, baby.
This is the Defo Show with Lubie here on Ion Channel. If you're listening, you can watch the video, ionchannel.com/the-Defo-show. If you're watching and you got to get going, but you want to keep listening, no problem. defoandlubie.com/live, talking to one and only Harvey Fialkov. We do this each and every Tuesday, just around 8:15, 8:20. He's great on Facebook, Harvey Fialkov. He's also on Twitter as well, at Harvey Fialkov or at HFialkov. Harvey, man, I want to move into a sport that Defo loves, and he tries to force in. And because our team down here hasn't been good for so long, it's hard to get it in. Well, they're the best team in hockey. And they're the best team in hockey by a lot right now. The Florida Panthers, we've heard about the young guys. And Defo and I joke with their voice, Goldie, for years. So when are the young guys going to become real guys? Well, they are right now. They're beating everyone, and they're beating everyone to a pulp. Last night, we're up 3-1, struggled late, and then found 2 goals to win 5-3 over Arizona. You've covered the Panthers a lot. You've talked a lot about the Panthers. What are your thoughts on the Panthers now? Do you think this is sustainable the way they've played so far?
I mean, if they don't win their first playoff series since 1996, I will eat something really radical. I mean, this is the best Panther team they've ever had. They have solid goaltending. Bobrovsky's finally playing like he's supposed to play for that contract. And this kid spends the night. This kid has not lost a game yet in the NHL. Played 3 games last year, 3-0. 3 games this year, 3-0. He's 6-0. Last night, got a little bit shaky at the end. They're up 4-1, and Anaheim came back with 2 goals, make it 4-3, and then AI stood on Declare's empty net goal. I love Declare's got speed, but here's what they brought in. They got these guys that finally stand in front of the net, Lubie and Jeff. Hornquist, Joe Thornton, a Hall of Famer. Hornquist is a Hall of Famer. These guys put their big bodies in front of the net, and they block the goalie's vision, and that's what the Panthers never used to get, juicy rebounds, and now they're getting them. And, of course, Barkov and Huberdeau, they've been superstars for a while. Now they got help. They got 4 balanced lines. I love Uyghur on defense. Ekblad is finally blossoming to the contract that he signed as a rookie. This team has it all now, right now, guys. They got toughness in the back end with Gudas. Here's a guy I've hated for years. If he's not on your team, you can't stand this little pest. When he's on this team, you love him. I mean, he will hit anybody, anytime, cheap shot. And that's what the Panthers never did. They never put the fear of God into the opposition. And now they have tough guys in the back end, and they got skill players up front. This team is 6-0. They've never been this good at the start of the season in the history since '93. And it's going to be a fun year between them and the Heat. Forget about the Dolphins. We got hockey. We got NBA. We got 2 exciting teams. Tyler Hero is a superstar in the making. But I digress. But it's going to be a fun winter, barring the Dolphins.
Gouda actually hip-checked Red Deer Randy Moeller during a pregame interview. That's how tough he is. And he was almost guilty of high-sticking on Jessica Blaylock of the Fox Broadcasting, which would have been ugly. I mean, this is a very sensitive area. And, Thornton being on the team, he broke in with Bobby Orr his rookie season. Joe Thornton. He's got that great beard, too, man. You don't know if you're watching hockey or a ZZ Top reprisal. But, Harvey, always a pleasure, my friend. Glad you joined us here. Glad you found us on Ion Channel. We did get a correction from Big Possum. He said the Astros and the Braves are both 12-1 going into the season, which makes me still not feel so comfortable about the fact that I whiffed on the bet, right? Could have been sitting there on the ultimate question. Would have put up $100 on the Braves to win a World Series, so I'd have been sitting on $1,200. Do you hedge there and put $200 on the Stros?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Win,
no guts, no glory. Right. This way. Now it went down to plus 1,000, so only 10-1. Still, that would have been a nice score.
Better
You know, sit the season there, and you would have been dying early on, just feeling like they were going to maybe finish behind the Marlins, and then the next thing you know, they're in the World Series. Harvey, we love you. Thanks for being with us here on the program. It's always a pleasure, my friend.
Please, no walk-off. No walk-off by Altuve. Please, God. All right. Have a good one, boy.
All right. All right, we have much to do here on the program. Brett Tessler, the agent of the stars, is coming up next here on Ion Channel. Jeff Deforrest, Mike Lubitz. The new Defo Show here. It's a whole new ballgame on Ion Channel, ionchannel.com. Many other formats. You can catch the replay of the program on 5 Reasons Sports Network if you missed any part of the show. And YouTube was an easy place to find it, Lubie. I just punched up YouTube last night on the big screen TV, and there we were. Pop in the Defo Show, and you get all of the shows that we've done so far here on Ion Channel. And our thanks to the people there for putting this whole thing together. It's absolutely great. Gulfstream Park is always a great place to go. I love being out at Gulfstream. We're crossing our fingers, hoping that this works out tomorrow or Thursday at Hialeah, and then it'll be straight out Friday, trackside at Gulfstream Park. And that's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. Great racing is on tap at Gulfstream Park, and they always do a dynamite job, but you have the spring-summer meet wrapping up. That's been outstanding, sustaining racing all throughout the year here, year-round. Thoroughbred racing at Gulfstream. Billy Badgett putting that together and really doing wonderful things with it, including the new synthetic, which everybody seems to like. Handicappers get a little nervous when there's a new surface out there, and they tend to blame that surface for all of their miserable handicapping faults. But nonetheless, everybody's raving about it. They say it's great. Sustaining racing and keeping horses that normally would be scratched on the turf, racing and running during the spring-summer meet. And the championship meet is like a month away now. So you're going to love that. Best horses and outfits and the top jockeys all competing all throughout the winter months here in South Florida in the championship meet at Gulfstream Park. Check their calendar of events at gulfstreampark.com, and they'll give you all the information you need about the upcoming championship meet at Gulfstream Park. And we will be back with Brett Tessler, the agent of the stars, more NFL trade deadline on the horizon. That wasn't a big deal. You don't see like players traded for players in the National Football League.
It's not like the NBA. The NBA is like a whole thing. The NFL, no one ever really does trades.
Yeah, you don't hear too much about it, and except for the Deshaun Watson thing. So we'll get into that with the agent of the stars, Brett Tessler. That's next on Ion Channel here on the Defo Show. Back with that in a moment. Now that.
The time.
If we wait any longer from Big Possum, and it will be down to 6-1. Time to make a wager.
It's right around the corner at Gulfstream Park. The only place for live racing, Gulfstream's action has never been hotter. Whether it's on the track, in the casino, or part of the dining and entertainment offered at the Village of Gulfstream Park. Currently running Thursday through Sunday, Gulfstream's racing package is the best in the country, with all the top horses and people in the game pointing towards another tremendous winter season. Check out the remodeled first floor casino, open 7 days and nights a week, along with the many special events and concerts happening at Gulfstream Park. You can place your wagers from anywhere at firstbet.com. Check the calendar of events at gulfstreampark.com.
Hey there, it's Mike Mayo. Do you like steaks? Do you like seafood? Do you like classic old Florida charm? You could get that all and more at Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of 95. The Studiali family, they've been running the place a long time. It's been there more than 70 years. And it is now a place you can get early bird specials along with steaks to take home and throw on the grill yourself at the Butcher Shop. That's open 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. It's open for dinner every night starting at 4:30, but they are closed on Sundays. Go to Tropical Acres. It's a place to go for a great meal, great people, good value. Tropical Acres.
Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development, and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come.
Since day one of Old School, we've had Catholic Health Services be part of our family. They are recognized as the quintessential rehab facility in the Southeast for strokes, but it goes well beyond strokes because Catholic Health Services is in the community of South Florida to help the community stay healthy. And if they're not healthy, get them healthy and get them back on their feet quicker than they could have ever expected. They do it every single day. It's step and repeat 24/7. Catholic Health Services.
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen.
The simple pleasures of this job, the way a stadium sounds when one of my players performs well on the field, the way we are meant to protect them in health and in injury. Less, more attention, caring for them, caring for ourselves. Games too.
The agent to the stars, the one and only Brett Tessler.
Well, once again, everybody, great to be with you here on Ion Channel, ionchannel.com. Catch the video and audio stream. Appreciate the people that are tuning in. And I really appreciate all of the comments that are up there on the message board, although they essentially seem to be from the same guy who continues to bury the price. Oh, we do enjoy that. Nice to get this kind of feedback, and I think you're engaged there in conversation with this gentleman. We're going to engage in conversation with one of our favorites here, the agent of the stars, Brett Tessler. Nobody more plugged in when it comes to knowing what the front offices of the NFL teams are all about. I think he's either had or has a player on virtually every team in the league. We welcome, and brought to you by Will and Trust Attorney, estate planning attorney, and the great law firm of Wild and Felice, Michael D. Wild. We bring you the agent of the stars, Brett Tessler. Brett, how are you, my friend?
Good morning, guys. Great to be here.
Good morning.
Oh, it's great to have you with us on the show. All right. We've asked you this before, and it doesn't seem like you see a lot of player-for-player trades. We've seen a couple of deals being consummated in the last couple of days, including Joe Flacco ending up with the New York Jets. I guess there was some logic to that, and you ask yourself, what is Joe Flacco doing on the Philadelphia Eagles roster if he's not going to play? Well, eventually you could turn that guy into like a conditional 6th-round pick. But the Jets pick him up in somewhat of desperation as Zach Wilson out with an injury for a couple of weeks. But how significant is the trade deadline? I guess there's going to be one element there that really is going to be a focal point, and that is what, if anything, happens to Deshaun Watson. But in general, how important is the trade deadline in the National Football League as compared to other sports?
It's different, much different. And the reason is there's multiple reasons. Number one, we have a salary cap here. So it's not like baseball where you can just trade whoever for whoever with no long-term ramifications. In this league, guys have cap dollars that accelerate if they're traded, and it just makes it prohibitive. There's just some teams that are in a cap situation right now where they couldn't possibly get a certain guy no matter how bad they want him, just for cap reasons. Number two, this isn't baseball or other sports where you just take a guy and say, okay, welcome here, go out there and throw strikes or go out to left field. You got to get a guy, you got to get him into the scheme. You got to get him familiar with his teammates. They have to develop timing. They have to develop chemistry. They have to gel. And so, for all these reasons, you just don't see much of this stuff going on in season in the NFL like you may in other sports. Now, as it relates to Deshaun Watson, that's obviously the thing that everybody's looking at. There is absolutely no question from a talent standpoint that if the Dolphins have a chance to get a guy like that, they have to. And that's no disrespect to Tua, just like it would be no disrespect to about 25 other starting quarterbacks in the NFL today that are not as talented as Deshaun Watson. And so naturally, if Deshaun Watson does end up coming here, that means that Tua has to go because, this guy wasn't drafted 5th overall a couple of years ago to be a backup. They weren't tanking for a backup. If I'm Tua and his agent, my attitude is trade us yesterday. And so, there's a lot of things to watch there as it relates to those two guys. And it would only seem to make sense that if Houston was trading Deshaun Watson here, that they could have a use for a guy like Tua in return because they're going to need a quarterback, and B, Tua is a guy who still has shown flashes. So it's kind of an interesting thing, but a couple conclusions that I've made is no matter what happens, Tua is never going to be as good as Justin Herbert, and that's always going to be something that is going to be constantly thrown at him, fairly or unfairly, and it's something that the Dolphins front office and coaches and the people that made that decision to draft Tua are always going to have to answer for.
He's just spitting up pea soup here, as you said that he'll never be as good as Justin Herbert because he's maintained all along that Herbert is a fraud and just a benefactor of what was a really bad team who was throwing the ball a lot, and Tua was going to be the man. But Lubie, I know you have one for Brett Tessler, the agent to the Stars.
Well, we are talking to Brett Tessler. Follow him up on Twitter at Tessler Sports, and he's also great on Facebook, Mr. Family Man himself, Brett Tessler. The question Defo and I keep wondering, Brett, is if he's fine and he can play and these cases aren't until February and the NFL hasn't put him on the exempt list, then why isn't he playing? And if he's not playing for Houston, for whatever the reasons are, why will he magically start playing for this new team? Why is it okay to be playing here but not play in Houston?
Well, let's remember, Lubie, that the issues in Houston began way before the whole sexual improprieties, the alleged, all the things that were alleged against him. The problem started way before that with him deciding that he wanted out of Houston just for organizational reasons. Obviously, he didn't like them trading his star receiver, and I don't know any quarterback that would be happy about that. And clearly there's been some other moves made in Houston that have been perplexing. And so, he had just signed a huge deal there in Houston, which makes this situation a little more unusual. But he just quickly identified the fact that, this team wasn't going to be heading in a good direction in his opinion. And so he decided that he wanted out. But, it's one of those deals where when they traded DeAndre Hopkins, I mean, that was a major blow. And it's not just to subtract somebody of his talent, but it's the lack of what they got in return, along with a few other moves similar to that he saw that made him decide that, he no longer wanted to continue as a member of that organization. So with that said, he made that clear. And then once all these allegations came out, then it just became too much. At that point, you can't have a quarterback out there starting for you that has made it extremely clear that he just does not want to be there. And now B, has all these other negative accusations attached to him. So that's the reason why he's not playing in Houston. When he goes anywhere else and gets a fresh start, whether it be Miami or Carolina, two teams that you see he's been mentioned as a possible piece that he could go there. In that case, now it's just a matter of what's the NFL going to do. And so with that, that's the $1 million question, because the NFL has been very sort of inconsistent with decisions they've made, how they've handled Ben Roethlisberger, but then how they seem to go easy on Ray Rice. And then, the video came out and then he got hammered. So you never really know how the NFL is going to handle these things. They've been very inconsistent in their decisions. And so if I'm the Dolphins, that's what I need to try to find out before I do anything.
I know you're a big fan of the way Roger Goodell has handled all of these various situations and the sincerity that this man has behind virtually everything he says and motivates him to do, whatever it is that he does in these spots. Brett Tessler, the agent of Stars, with us here on Ion Channel, and Brett's presence every week brought to you by Will and Trust attorney, estate planner, Mr. Michael D. Wild, who does a dynamite job. Well, one more thing on this whole Houston situation, because they are becoming NFL purgatory, are they not? Very interesting. Certain organizations nobody ever wants to be a part of, right? You get drafted in the NBA by the Sacramento Kings. They try to make, and the number 3 overall pick going to Sacramento, Joe Jones. And then you see like Jones's parents crying in despair that he's going to end up in Sacramento.
and have his career virtually doomed. And you have other franchises. I guess baseball players don't want to go to Pittsburgh anymore. They've been lousy forever. Is Houston becoming that organization? Is Houston becoming one of those destinations? They had Bill O'Brien there as GM. He was part of the Hopkins deal. He trades him for like a dime a dozen injured running back and future sixth-round pick. With the best receiver in the National Football League. Would anybody want to play for this organization? Well, what the hell is wrong in Houston? Brett Tessler, Agent of the Stars.
Well, I can just tell you this. I think Houston has some good people there in the front office. I think Nick Caserio, who they hired this year to be their general manager, guy who's been Belichick's right-hand man for many, many years up in New England, somebody who I've dealt with a lot. In fact, the first transaction he made when he became the general manager of the Texans was one of my clients. So, I've had a good relationship with him. You got to give somebody like him time. You've got to change a culture. You've got to change a roster. You're a new general manager, a first-time general manager that comes into a situation, and the first thing that happens is your franchise quarterback, one of the most talented in the league, demands to be traded. So he's had to deal with a lot over there. You got to give that situation time. But, there's no doubt. I mean, I've represented numerous players on every team in the league. And let's just say there's a reason why some teams win and sometimes and some teams lose. And when you're in my position, it sort of becomes a little more clear why.
Very diplomatically put. All right, here's a big question. How much should Tom Brady have turned over to that fan that Evans gave the ball to get that historic 600th touchdown pass ball back? I mean, now the story is he gave him some Bitcoin. I don't know. Do you have Bitcoin? Are you into that whole thing? You're always on top of your game when it comes to
one
financial
Bitcoin
stuff.
now is worth $60,000. So if you just gave him one Bitcoin, that was a lot.
60
of money.
dimes? Oh yeah. I mean, can you get a piece of a Bitcoin? What do you think that ball was worth? Because speculation was that it'll be worth in the millions to have that ball at some sports memorabilia auction.
You've heard it mentioned that it could be $500,000, at least, but nobody knows. But suffice to say, with the way that sports memorabilia prices have shot through the roof over the last few years, there's no question that ball is worth a hell of a lot more than 2 signed Tom Brady jerseys, a helmet, a game ball, which is worth, maybe $100, and season tickets to the Buccaneers for the next 2 years. So, from a numerical standpoint, he definitely got the short end of that stick. But you know what? Not everybody's about money. I salute the guy because if I were to be honest with you and everybody listening, if I get my hands on that ball, there's a good chance.
You're running out of the stadium. Yeah.
Let's just say that the negotiation would go on a little while longer than it ended up doing.
You would look like Derrick Henry getting out of the stadium there and straight to your car and put that thing in some kind of safety deposit box. I mean, if the guy, he would have been better off asking for a lap dance at Mom's Venus and dinner for 2 at Burns Steakhouse. Maybe a couple of cigars from Ybor City. I mean, come on, Tom. What the hell is that?
Yeah, let's just say if I get that ball, aside from the numerical rewards that I'd be looking for, there's a good chance you'd see Tom Brady over at the house washing my car the next day. Taking my kids
maybe Giselle dangling by the pool there, in scantily clad bikini.
This guy just asked for a round of golf with Tom. I mean, for me, for a $500,000 item potentially, I think there'd be a little more involved in a round of golf. But again, kidding aside, tip of the cap to him. I mean, it's certainly a mensch move to go ahead and hand something like that back over when he obviously had no obligation to do so. So there are some people like that in this world. I'm just not one of them.
Yeah. We had him as a shot fighter 5 years ago, so we can't even get into Brady. Michael D. Wild, I tell you what, he would have made a more generous offer for something of significance in his lifetime. And what's significant about Michael D. Wild is the way he just flat out helps people with their estate planning and all kinds of wills and trusts. And it really does make a big difference to have that all ironed out by somebody who's very competent and does a great job.
Well, aside from his estate planning expertise, which is very, very well documented down here, it's pretty hard to open up any magazine without seeing a picture of him or a story about the amazing work that he's done throughout the years. And of course, everybody out there can reach out to him at South Florida Wills with an S, southfloridawills.com, to get theirs taken care of. But he also handles all different types of asset protection, LLCs. If you're a business owner, you name it, reach out to Michael Wild, southfloridawills.com.
All right, very exciting time in the National Football League. Some big games on tap. Looking forward to Arizona, Green Bay. Brett Tessler, always great insight, and we always appreciate you coming on the show. Thanks so much for joining us here on Ion Channel.
My pleasure, guys. Have a good week.
Thanks, Tessler.
Brett Tessler, the agent to the stars, with us here on Ion Channel. Coming back, another show flying by here. We're coming back to wrap things up. I'm Jeff Deforrest. He's Mike Lubitz. Thanks so much for tuning in. You can catch replays of the show, various formats. YouTube, just pop on the Defo Show, Ion Channel, replaying this on an endless loop. So a lot of fun there with the audio and the video as well. We thank the people there for putting the whole thing together. And then, of course, later on after hours, Defo and Lubie, Believe Podcast Network, some new, fresh material there. What? You haven't said anything new in a long time, Defo. Same
fresh?
old tired cliches, yes. All of a sudden, I'm a breath of fresh air late in the game here. But anyway, that comes your way. And first hour of the program, if you missed that, WWNN, if you're in the Fort Lauderdale area. Hey, where's the signal go? It's not that strong, but what the hell? It's terrestrial radio. So we made our return there yesterday. And we'll return in a moment to wrap things up on Ion Channel. Now that. It's time for Lubie to take over. Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development, and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. What if I told you you could go to a great restaurant, feel completely safe because their COVID protocol is unmatched, have an amazing meal, have a great time? When the bill comes, you won't get sticker shock. You're going to say, that's too good to be true. No, it's not. Because I'm talking about Texas Roadhouse. Great family atmosphere, great atmosphere for a couple, great atmosphere if you just want to go by yourself and watch a game and have the coldest beer in town. And while you're doing that, have the best bread in town. All at Texas Roadhouse. Everything you get there is fresh every day and made sure it's served at your table, hot and ready to go. And the best part is you don't get sticker shock because the prices are amazing. Texas Roadhouse.
Recently, we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call your insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you go into court without an attorney? So why would you go up against an insurance company without Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa? 7 to 10 times more money recovered with a public adjuster than if you went on your own. If there's no recovery, there's no fee. Give them a call at 954-809-8752. Why go up against insurance companies alone when you can have Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa on your side?
Play the ponies in style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style. And you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup, All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Hey, it's Mike Mayo, the Gambling Gourmet here for my friends over at Shenanigans Sports Pub. It's a great place to go to take in a game, a good meal, and a couple of drinks. My friend Patrick, he's been doing it a long time, and he's got 2 locations. West Side is right across from TY Park in Hollywood. And then the East Side location is at 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Shenanigans is the place for wings, burgers, barbecue, fresh fish, anything you want, drink specials, late night dining, outdoor dining. It is the place to go, family friendly. Go to Shenanigans and tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you.
Detrás de centro, va a venir la entrega para el novato, corre por el centro, hay un hueco, está en la 20, Nick Chubb todavía de pie, 30, Nick Chubb, 25, 40, 50, Nick Chubb, hasta la vista, baby, Nick Chubb, touchdown, sí señor, el novato con la corrida más larga de la temporada, tremendo hueco por la derecha y le dice adiós a los Falcons. Y los Browns de Cleveland toman ventaja 27-10 en este tercer cuarto. ¡Qué barbaridad de novato, Dios mío!
Buenos dias. The cafecito is piping hot. Why not enjoy it with Defo and Lubie? It's now time for the Defo Show.
That was our buddy Rafa Hernandez, who we knew from South Florida, and now the voice of the Cleveland Browns and the Cleveland Cavaliers, although I don't know that there's much to say about the Cavaliers. Hasn't been since, we haven't been the same since LeBron was here. Thank God he got us that one time. But that was a Nick Chubb 2-yard run. You got to infuse a lot of enthusiasm into your broadcast if you're going to do it in Spanish. A couple of things here, and then we have to say goodbye for today. Absolutely great. The lovely and talented Leslie Visser says the Bitcoin alone is worth 70 dimes, Lubie.
Okay.
So this was no cheese ball giveaway by Tom Brady. The jerseys plus season tickets, not necessarily as great as a gift certificate from BurgerFi and Pompano, which is a great spot there, right by the pier. I like the veggie burger, to tell you the truth. Big Possum says, what could I get for an old DRF, daily racing form, once used by Defo?
Nothing.
It's funny how you're going to the track ready to lose like $300 to $500 if it comes to that, and yet you still begrudge the daily racing form for charging you like $11 here. Right? Could have bought like 2 gallons of gas for that money. All right, that'll do it for us. A lot of fun. Thanks once again, Jack Namer, for having faith in us here. Ion Channel. It's growing, Lubie. That's what you say, right?
Yes, sir.
And all of our other stuff, After Hours with Defo and Lubie, Believe Podcast Network, has a couple of downloads. What, 2 downloads represent success?
We have a good amount of downloads. Today our guest will be John Bacon, John U. Bacon. So definitely check it out.
Oh, he's great.
Believe.com/ just look up After Hours and you get us.
All right, you get 5 Reasons Sports Network and rebroadcast of the first hour, WWNN. That's 1470 if you're in the South Florida area and you happen to be between Oakland Park Boulevard and Commercial. No, it comes in loud and clear all over Broward County. You can ensure Alex Sufreen that his ads are playing to a just broad and ready to come to his place restaurant. Come to his restaurant audience. All right, we have to run. I'm getting confused here. We got to run. Great being with you. We'll see you next time as we leave you know that.
The time.
We say goodbye from the Ion Channel.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.